Good morning. It's Friday, April 14th. And today I want to talk about Alvin Bragg and his suit against Jim Jordan. He is suing Jim Jordan over a campaign to intimidate and attack the district attorney's office in New York. Now, Jordan is an erstwhile supporter of Donald Trump and has done everything in his power to keep Trump in the White House and keep Trump visible to the nation. And those things that Jim Jordan has done have been classified by Alvin Bragg as a campaign to intimidate and attack his office and himself. Now, let's look at a little bit of history about what happened. When Alvin Bragg took over the office of Attorney General, there were two attorneys that were working on the Donald Trump case. One of them was Mark Pomerantz, and I don't recall the name of the other one. But in any event, Mark Pomerantz wrote a book, and in his book he complained that Alvin Bragg was taking too much time to go forward with the case against Trump. Pomerantz felt that he was ready to release the findings and ready to indict President Trump. But Bragg was taking a more cautious approach. And so these two attorneys, because of that, and because of all the hard work they had done, felt they were being mistreated, so to speak, and so they resigned. And so now Jim Jordan is taking action against Alvin Bragg by calling upon Mark Pomerantz to testify before the Judiciary Committee in Congress, of which Jim Jordan is the chairman of that committee, because that was the deal that he made with Mike McCarthy for supporting McCarthy to become the Speaker of the House. So in my mind, Jim Jordan is nothing but an opportunist. He has a law degree, but he never practiced. He chose to be a wrestling coach instead. So I have very little respect for his intelligence. So because of these actions, District Attorney Bragg stated in his lawsuit against Jim Jordan. So in Bragg's lawsuit against Jordan, he states categorically that Jordan's attacks on the DA and the DA's office are just actions of intimidation, that Jordan is trying to protect Trump by classifying Bragg's actions as an attack on Trump for deeds that fall far beyond the description of criminality. Bragg also goes on to point out that Congress has no power to supervise state criminal prosecutions. It doesn't have the power to serve subpoenas for the personal thoughts of investigators or to punish those investigators. Bragg's office writes in the suit pointing to a case initiated by Trump that ultimately limited Congress's subpoena power. So Bragg is saying that Jordan is stepping way out of bounds to attack him and his team. And Bragg has also resisted efforts from Jordan to secure his testimony. He's argued in previous letters to Jordan's requests that his request would violate the rights of those involved in the investigative process, including Trump himself. And Jordan doesn't realize that the district attorney that filed the charges against Trump were approved by the citizens of New York. Many citizens in New York agree with what Bragg has done. So the bottom line is that Bragg is telling Jordan to go stuff it. And in his lawsuit, he also has an injunction, asked for an injunction to block the subpoena of Pomerantz, as well as any other future subpoenas that are issued to Bragg and others in his office. He also notes that any subpoena would violate the laws surrounding grand jury secrecy and privilege. So he's accusing Jordan of violating the law in some way, shape, or form. But that's not going to stop Jordan, because Jordan believes that they're trying to indict a president for no crime, and they sue to block congressional oversight. When we ask what they have done with the federal funds that they used in processing this indictment of the president, the ex-president. But according to Bragg says he did not use any federal funds. Any federal funds that were used before he took office. And then you got to look at Jordan's work. Could Jordan's work serve a legitimate legislative purpose? One of the requirements for bringing a subpoena is having a legitimate purpose. And is the intimidation of a witness or somebody who wrote a book, is that to be considered a legitimate purpose? I don't think so. But Jordan has argued that his panel must be allowed to review everything because of the $5,000 in federal money that was spent, so far as he knows. And Jordan also argued that his subpoena of Pomerantz is needed for the consideration of potential legislative reforms that would, if enacted, insulate current and future presidents from such politically motivated state and local prosecutors. Well, we've had presidents for 250 years, and this is the first president that got in all this trouble. I don't think we need to change the laws to protect the presidents. I think the presidents have to do the proper thing, and then they won't get in trouble. If you look at the history of presidents, only 3 of them have been impeached. None of them have been convicted. Donald Trump has overstepped the boundaries of what presidents are allowed to do in so many ways that just for his poor work as a president he should be prosecuted. But these criminal activities go beyond the fact that he was a poor president and screwed this country up badly. So I'm in favor of Bragg suing to defend his office and defend the actions of all prosecutors in this country. And when a president posts on social media a picture of himself holding a baseball bat over the head of District Attorney Bragg, without saying anything threatening, but that post caused people to send in death threats against District Attorney Bragg. So are those the actions of a rational person? Is that person entitled to the defense of a high-ranking public official like Jim Jordan, head of the Judiciary Committee of the U.S. Congress? Should he be defending somebody who threatens a prosecutor on social media? I think not. But I don't think people like Jordan think that way. I don't think the president, the ex-president, thinks that way either. He believes he's immune. And this case has to put the country back on track. So I leave you with those thoughts this morning. Have a great day. Bye.